What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dream Catchers Fishing Channel. Today I'm talking about literally the biggest bass lure ever made. Some guys are actually catching stripers on this bait too, but this is the DRT Klash Frenzy, straight out of Japan. So this bait has been in production for 3 years and could possibly be maybe the most hype created bait of all time. There's some original video put out by the DRT guys catching some fish on this bait. Tomoya, who is the founder of DRT, caught 2 absolute freakzilla giants. And honestly, I only know of like 6 documented catches on this bait. It is a whopping 17.5 inches and even has a little pecker on it right there. That means you gotta have big kahunas to throw the thing. It is a beast. But seriously, this bait, I'm excited to throw it. We have had, you can see, I've tied it on, I've used it. We've had some ridiculous weather. It's literally cold, rainy out right now. We have just had the run of it so far in this early spring, late winter, trying to get on the water and get footage with this bait. Anything from rain, bad audio, everything. It's been a pain in the butt. But I have been able to fish this bait, and I am unbelievably satisfied with its swim action and all of its glory and everything from the lip in, the different tails and everything. This is lip out mode B with the tail. I have found this bait to be the most efficient in this way. It has a huge glide on a straight retrieve, and then in typical Klash fashion, DRT fashion, tight little movements of that rod literally give this bait a sharp, almost walking action underwater, which gets bites. And I'm going to tell you just straight up, this thing is not only going to get a ton of followers because of how big it is and how much water it moves, it's going to get eats. That's the thing that I'm really excited about. Like I said, there hadn't been many fish documented caught on it. The ones that have been caught on it have been freaking monsters. I think the smallest one that I know of caught on it was a gentleman out of California. He said he caught a 5-pounder in a wolf pack. But this bait, I believe, if there's like someone's like, hey man, if you're gonna break the state record and you had to choose one bait, and that's, I'm talking about North Carolina, it's going to be that bait right there. I'm talking about the amount of water this bait moves and the amount of drawing power this bait has is astronomical. You know, I like throwing the Hinkle trout, which is, I think it's like 10 ounces. This bait is 10.5 ounces, but the crazy thing about this bait, it's 6.5 inches longer than a Hinkle trout. How they did that was these holes, these flow holes, for some of you DRT crackheads, these aren't for smoking crack out of. These are literally for water getting into the bait and cutting down. When you go to cast, the weight of the bait, it's to cut down on the weight. So you can cast the bait just super easy for how big it is. This is the rod I'm using. This is a Champion 867 that I literally cut 6 inches off of to make it more like an 808. But that's what I'm throwing the Hinkle on. It's also what I've been throwing the DRT Klash Frenzy on, and it handles it really well. A big key with this bait, when casting it, this thing is, it's freaking huge. One, how do I say this? When casting this bait, it catches a lot of air. There is a lot of surface area on this bait. So in the air, it tends to look like a knuckleball. It just kind of goes through the air and gets all crazy. You have got to throw this on a stiff line. A lot of guys, when they're throwing big swim baits, they're like, oh man, I want to throw it on braid because I'm scared to lose it. You cannot throw this on braid. Braid is too limber of a line. When this thing is swimming, or even when you cast it and it's flailing through the air, that line will foul up on the hooks. You have to use a specific line. What I'm using is CXX P line in 25-pound clear, and I haven't had a problem. And the key with this thing is lob casting. If you try to cast overhead, this thing's gonna go do cartwheels in the air and really foul up your line. The key is to lob cast this booger. But I'm serious, the way the water flows through those flow holes, man, it just has that supernatural action. It doesn't take a lot to work this bait, not near as much as I thought it was going to. But I am unbelievably excited about this bait. And like I said, we have fished it and gotten some footage fishing with it. But then it would just like start downpouring rain, and then I'd go back and check the audio, and the audio talking about this bait, was just not good and everything. But this bait right here is going to catch some absolute freak giants. The reason why, oh, and here's another thing. The reason why I added that little bit of tungsten weight in the back of it, because these flow holes take on water, the bait wants to sit like this, and when you reel it, it really achieves some depth as a glide bait. But I wanted it to not only achieve depth, but stay relatively parallel with the surface of the water. So I wanted to take that bait from sitting like this and gliding down to still being able to achieve depth, but when I'm working it, to really keep that bait very horizontal and parallel. I don't necessarily like the bait, angled down like that. I like fishing it where it's more parallel, but obviously it's still going to be able to achieve depth. But that is like a 1/4 ounce tungsten weight, and I used some toothproof wire to get it on there, and it makes it literally where it is almost a perfect suspension bait, even just a micro slow sink, just like that. But and I added a little bit of weight to that treble hook too to help with that balance. But this bait, I'm telling you, it's a special bait. I don't think I've ever been so excited to fish with a giant swim bait in my life as much as this one. And like I said, I just think it has giant bass potential. You will see multiple catches this year on it and from us. So that's what I got. That's my initial thoughts of the bait. When I opened the box, I'm like, oh my goodness, that's a giant bait. And it is in fact a giant lure. But anyways, I'm really excited about it. You guys know that I'm a huge DRT fan. We've caught so many giant fish on a DRT Klash 9. We've used the tiny Klash, and then this bait we're adding to the repertoire. Man, it is going to be special. So stay tuned, subscribe to the channel. You will see some cast to catch footage with this bait, and man, you are going to be psyched up just like we will be when we're reeling in giants on it. So anyways, appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. I think this bait is really special, and like I said, it just has the chance. If there's one bait that I think can break the state record, man, it's this bait right here on one of our mountain lakes chasing around some trout eaters. So anyway, stick with us. We're going to freaking catch some giants this year on that thing. Man, I'm pumped up about it. Thanks for watching the video, though. If you enjoyed it, subscribe. Go check out our other big swim bait footage. And yeah, thanks a bunch. See ya.